No, go lay down. Lie down. No. If you want, I'm not going to stop you.
since I don't have anybody. Oh, hi, thanks for joining. I haven't actually started, but thank you for coming on. I mean, I'm starting, but obviously there's no paint on the paper. So on my Patreon, once a week, I post an image. Ooh, that color is really off on my arm. Let me fix that, 'cause that means the color on the painting is gonna be really off. So I'm orange. I hope that helps. But if it's off more, I can adjust that. And get that off. So once a week on Patreon, I post an image and I walk through how we do it. So this week was this cute little bird. There's already a video up on Patreon how I drew it. And I broke down the drawing process from big shapes to small shapes. So today, or for me this morning, I am going to paint it. Sorry, I have two screens, one in front of me and one behind. And I just don't need to hear myself talk. So you're welcome to ask questions in the box. I am still very, very new at this, but you're always new at something. You do something for the first time, so there's just learning curves. And you only get better by doing. So I have a lot of brushes. You don't actually, oh, I lost a viewer. That's fine. Now I can just talk to myself. Big delay. Hey, thanks for joining my channel. I'm painting this lovely little orange bird that you can't see, and we're gonna work through it together. So if you have questions, let me know, or I can just sit here quietly. So when you're starting a watercolor, you want to work lights to darks. I like to kind of pre-pull the colors I'm going to use on my palette, so I don't have to like, you don't want this to dry while you're making your colors. So it's nice to kind of pre-make all the colors you're going to use. So all you need to do is go grab them. Let me see if I can get the bird in the frame so you guys can see how I'm color matching this. There we go. So there's a lot of warm tones even in the brown. You can put up your layers. My pencil lines are a little bit dark, but that is for teaching. I would actually normally push them back, which I'm gonna do real quick. I don't want to get my big eraser, so I'm just gonna use this one for now. Now let's go do that. So when you're lightening your pencil lines, it's actually best to use a kneaded eraser. This is a Faber-Castell. If you can see here, it took off it streaky, which isn't actually going to look good for the finished product. So it's best to use a kneaded eraser, and you just kind of, you can blot or you can rub. But I do have my pencil lines a little bit dark, which makes it harder for you, but it will make for a better picture in the end. And what you don't have to really worry about it is if you know where your painting is going to be dark, your pencil lines will just blend in. But where it's going to be really light, you don't really want them showing. So yes, you do a drawing and then you erase your drawing, which sounds kind of unproductive. And if you press to, oh, okay. This color is still really bad. Sorry, I'm using my hand to make sure the color is right. My saturation was way up, so that was kind of what was causing me to be orange. I am not an Oompa Loompa. So that is much better. So we're gonna go with that. At least I don't look like an Oompa Loompa. Which I thought in the original movie they were orange. In the remake, I think they're blue, but you're welcome to correct me on that. So I'm gonna Mr. P, what are you doing? Hey, welcome to my channel. I am working on this bird today. I'm just building up all the layers. I'm on my very first layer. I'm just going to keep working on it. If you have any questions, please ask away in the chat. I'm here to teach and help and walk you through drawing. Why did I make this color? Oh, here. So I am a watercolor artist. I actually normally do mixed media, but for teaching purposes, I am also doing watercolor only and how you build it up. I have been painting since I was little, but I have been doing professionally over 10 years now. But my main style is watercolor with the mixed media, but to learn, it's good to start at the beginning. So watercolor only. And you want to work lights to darks and build up your layers. I also really like working, I guess, wet on dry. So I'm working on dry paper, but wherever you put the water, you can then drop in paint. So that's wet on wet, and that's when it blurs and blends together. That's kind of what I'm getting over here. The part about watercolor people are usually afraid of is when the colors start mixing and you can't control it. Well, you can control it to a point. Sorry, Friday is trash day and it's right out my window. So those are my two dogs going crazy. It won't last long, but sorry about that. My room's on the first floor right next to the cans. So this is a routine. Friday morning, bark at the trash men. So when I say you can control and not control, the paper's dry here. So if I put paint here, it's going to go where I put it. But the minute I touch it to the edge where it's wet, it's going to bleed in. So that you can control it and not control it. And how much you have on your brush is how much it's going to bleed in versus less, because you're giving it less to absorb. So this color here in the bird is a nice cool blue. Actually can't remember what color this is. I'm sorry. I know this is cobalt blue. It's a little bit too warm for what I wanted, and these are too green. So I know my palette. I've had the same palette roughly 10 years. Which sounds crazy. I now and then will add in new colors. So I have some over here that I'll bring in for one painting. The plus of working with the same palette, you know it. You know how your colors mix. You know how they react to each other. So you can actually be a faster painter when you have one singular palette. And you only add in outside colors when you need that color. So I have, I think it's 32. You're welcome to count me. These are the outside wells. You don't need to use them for paint. You can just use them for mixing bigger amounts. I obviously didn't do that. This is one of my favorite colors, and so is this green. Yeah, my palette's kind of gross. It just kind of stays that way. But yeah, if you have questions, please hop in the chat. That's why I'm here today. I am working a little bit slower because I am learning this whole talking and streaming. I usually watch movies or TV and space out, and I paint much quicker. Yellow and blue and orange make brown, so mixing these two together will get me this color I need down here for the belly where it's a little bit darker. I kind of want all these colors to run together, but I do need to keep my lights, my whites in the feathers. So that's why I'm not doing a solid wash. Another technique you could do is use masking fluid and mask off the whites, that little feather texture, by just using a tip of the brush and pressing very light, kind of just shaking it around. I'm getting that hashing texture, that feather texture, versus just doing a solid wash. I would lose all my whites. I'm not used to looking at the camera, so forgive me, you're seeing the top of my head a lot. I will get better at that. So you can use a smaller brush for this, but if you have a really good brush, you don't need to. And this brush is quite old, but the brand's Grumbracher. How you treat your brushes really makes them last longer. So if you see, I don't put them back in the water. They stay on the side. I never do that. Don't leave your brush in the water. Acrylic makes more sense because the acrylic can ruin it, but in watercolor, it would just ruin the end. When I'm done, I clean them, and I do the same thing. I leave them here. But my table's at an angle. I'm actually working from a 1940s drafting table. We found it at an estate sale, so I can angle it. So my table's at a slight angle, which also means the fiber is going down. So if my correction, if you're done with your brush and you put it like up in a cup, all those pigments run down, which makes the brush go out. So because my table's at an angle, it runs down. So that also helps me. But yeah, so brushes do and do not matter. I honestly have some cheap brushes that I love. Grumbracher is kind of getting a little bit harder to find. But my cheap brush, if you're looking at doing watercolor, is from Jerry's Artorama. They're like $2 for a small one. Creative Inspiration or Creative Mark. They're actually really good brushes, and they're cheap. I mean, I say cheap, like this is probably $8, and this was probably $18 to $20. Brushes can actually be even more expensive than that. But yeah, you're still here. Thank you. Hi. So I know this is still wet. Plus, they're working on 100% cotton. My drying time is much slower. So I'm going to go in and plop these darks in while it's still wet. This is a color I have a hard time pronouncing. It's this lovely rich orange, but when you're working in darks, you need to dull it. So the opposite of orange is blue. So I'm actually going to dull this orange, and I'm going to add some brown. Why not cheat? So I need this darker, rich orange. You can also add red, which I'm going to do. And this is a warmer red, so I'm going to go with Acadium versus Alizarin, which it has a lot more blue in it. And I have an orangey red here. I'm using it for my koi fish painting I've been working on. So there we go. Pretty close. Needs a little bit more yellow. The plus of working on a really big palette base is I have room to do this mixing versus being stuck in a small confined area. You can also use test strips, but I'm not trying to make it photorealistic, so close enough. I have a nice, rich, dark, dull orange that I'm just going to drop right here. Now my paper did dry on me. That's okay. I'm just going to call it texture because lots of texture in this area. And if your color's not matching perfectly, just go make it real quick. So I'm going to get it a little orangey or red. There we go. What I put on is wet. So those two colors are just going to kind of bleed in together. And then to soften the edge, you do a clean, damp brush, and I can just kind of soften those marks out. You could just do this as a wash, but I kind of don't want to lose that fluffy texture the bird has. So I'm doing it a little bit more dry on dry. He has a nice little halo around its eyeball that I don't want to lose. I mean, because I know the paper's dry there, I don't have to worry about it bleeding in. Sorry, I hold a paintbrush a little bit different. So I'm sorry if I'm blocking the view. Next time I'll figure out what light I need to move to not have this shadow. Oh, I'm blown out. I'm so sorry. Let me fix that real quick. You guys can't see anything. So let's just quickly adjust that. Well, that's better. Now you can see what I'm working on. You should have told me in the chat. I would have fixed that earlier. So let's... There's a nice shadow under the beak, but I'm going to make that darker later. So in watercolor, you work lights to darks. So if something's not dark enough, you can just drop it in right now, but I also know I can go back and add it. The fun part about birds is you can make it as realistic, you can make it as playful. I mean, I could do this covered in patterns and dots and mixed media and just have a lot of fun, but for teaching purposes, we're just going to kind of keep it more traditional today. So touching the paper, if it feels cold, it's still wet. Wait, is that backwards? It's been a while since I think it through. I kind of just know. I know it's still kind of damp by how it looks, and also the paper's bowing a little bit, which tells me it's still a little bit wet. You can also just put water on top, but I need to go add these nice darks in. And if you lose your darks and you know your paper is still wet, you can just go in a paper towel and damp it out. So in the photo, he has this nice little highlight there, which I covered up. So I'm just gonna bring it back and add a little bit of hair texture. One thing you do want to look at is your direction of your line making. So these feathers kind of flare out. So I want to make sure to capture those directions. Not bad for just starting. Just started painting this at 8 o'clock. So moving a little quicker. I'm going to leave the darks. I think I'm going to kind of go get this put in. This will help make it pop. Getting your darks in and your shadows really brings stuff to life. I also kind of like to look at what colors I have on my palette. There's lots of pinks and reds. So I'm just going to lighten this real quick and drop in the base color for his foot. If you, funny enough, sometimes animals will look like dead animals, like creepy dead. So one thing you can do to help it not look dead, like roadkill, put the eyeball in. I usually put the eyeball in pretty soon into painting a piece, mainly because it just kind of doesn't look so great with no eye. So if you ever kind of find your pieces creeping you out, just paint the eye in. Get that eye done much sooner than you think. It will also look prettier a lot quicker. So it gives you more encouragement that you're doing well. Oh, bye. Okay. Don't paint on canvas. paint is giving me. I think it's this one.
fan of this brush.
Hey, welcome to my chat. Thanks for popping over. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm a watercolor artist. I've been doing this for longer than I would like to share. But yeah, today I'm just going to walk you through how to do a basic watercolor drawing. And really the biggest trick is work light to dark. Don't rush it. But let me know if you have any questions, or I can just be quiet and keep painting. This is going on way too dark. Which just means I need to water down that color. Hi. So most of my painting is damp right now, so anything fine detail I'm gonna have to wait and work on it on dry, otherwise it's gonna just kind of blur out, which happened a little bit here. And I will do the lines on the feathers on dry, otherwise it's gonna be a blurry mess, but you don't do that until you get the right colors. So it is actually still too light. Hey, I got two people here. Welcome to my channel. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm just working through this little, I think it's a bird's called a tit. If you know, put it in the comments. I cannot actually remember. It was just cute and it was a nice one to learn from. I have a video on my Patreon about how I did the drawing. And it's very easy. I promise you can do it. That's why I chose it, because it's a great one to learn how to draw from. Big circle for the body, small for the head, and you can break it down, I promise. If you're afraid of drawing, this is a great one to learn from. And for painting, it's pretty simple. You just build up your colors. So that's what I'm doing today. So thank you for being here. So I'm going to soften this edge. Just a little shadow. So you just want a nice damp brush. And it softens out that harsh line. I will say the bird's feet were not fun to draw. So I just made a nice orangey red, and I added a little bit of blue to dull it. Because your shadows are never... You don't want a dark shadow color. You can have a bright red and have it watered down so it's light, and you can keep it rich, but you need it dulled. So you want to add the complement in the color wheel. So the opposite of orange is blue. So that's what makes this reddy orange a dull dark versus a vibrant dark bright. If that makes any sense. But yeah, you always want to dull your shadow colors. Your shadows are not bright and saturated, they're dull and muted. So the easiest way of doing that is to add the complement. It's okay if you don't know your complements. Color wheels are handy, they're good to have. I kind of like to look at American football teams. Weirdly enough, most US American football teams' colors are complements. I think the Ravens are yellow and purple, and the complement of yellow is purple. Blue and orange, red and green. So if you look at that, a lot of teams' colors are complementary colors. Oof, get that off the end. I do have two dogs, and they are being so good and quiet. So this is where I'd go and take a break, because I know right now everything is lightly wet. So I'll do the background last. So how you kind of can choose to do a background. If your background's very light and your subject is dark, just do the background first. Or if your background's dark, do that last, because it will kind of cover up your mistakes. I'm kind of not where I'm probably going to keep it light. I like it like the photo. I won't make it a flat one color, but I'll do that last. I have a trick for going around objects without having to mask. So the only thing I normally mask are textures, patterns, the white in the eye, maybe that highlight on the beak would have been a good thing to mask. You can mask off the textures and the feathers, but if you use the right brush, you don't need to do that. I'm one that just finds people use masking fluid way more than they should be on things they don't need to do. If you use the right brush and you know when to do wet on the wet or wet on the dry, you can get those same techniques without having to mask, but there is a place to use masking fluid. Like I would maybe mask off this, instead of white in the eye. I didn't, it's right there, I lost it, but I'll bring it back with a small bit of gouache. And the beak highlight. Otherwise, you really don't need to use it that much. I'm not saying don't own it. I own masking fluid, I do use it, I just don't use it to mask off large areas. It's not needed. You're welcome to disagree with me. It is a tool that has helped many people. So one thing that can make an artwork pop is your darks. And that's one thing many people forget to do. So this dark is a mix of my secret weapon, Payne's Gray. Is such a beautiful color. That should be on a t-shirt that's Payne's Gray, saying I love Payne's Gray. But that might sound inappropriate to a person who doesn't understand it's the name of a color. So, oh. There we go. There's more to that beak than what I put in, but that's a good first layer. Okay, let's get that eye. So trick for black, super easy. I don't own black. There is no black on my palette. I haven't had to use black since college when I had to do ink drawings. Otherwise, I don't own it. I don't like it. It sounds really silly, but you actually can make black. So the secret weapon for black is Payne's Gray, and I'm gonna get this wrong. Is it raw umber, or I think it's raw umber. It's like the darkest brown. So on a normal palette, you have your earth tones. So you mix, I'm not sure you guys can see this, so I'm gonna say it's raw umber and Payne's Gray, and you'll get black. Now mine's a little bit watered down. And if you want it, this is a nice warm black, but you want a cool black, you actually add red. Someone said to me, well, isn't red warm? Yes and no. So cadmium red's warm, alizarin red is cool. So I'm gonna add a little bit of alizarin red, which is on the blue end, so it's a cool red. And this will actually push this black into the cool zone versus the warm. And then I'm gonna put it on the bird. Debating if I need a smaller brush. Think. So your paper feels cold. It's usually still lightly wet, but I am okay if my color bleeds. See, isn't that a beautiful black? And we made it. So if you ever have a black tube, just throw it out. Don't buy it. Making your black will always be richer. It will have more variance. Tube black is very flat. So I'm actually going to dry my brush because I want this to kind of bleed in. Because I want to keep that little bit of blue in the eye. because it's still, hey, you're still here. Thank you for sticking around. Do you have questions? Okay, one question in the chat box. Can you hear me? That's not pretty. I could have made that blue a little bit richer, but that's okay. So here's a trick when people look at your art. You're not hanging it next to the reference photo. No one's going to go side by side and go, you missed this, you missed that. They're never going to see the reference photo. So if you're slightly off but it still looks really good, you're doing great. Sorry, I live in Japan and it is morning here, so my mug is tea. I'm a huge tea drinker. I probably drink too much, and I definitely drink more in the summer because of it going to water. I go to iced tea. And decaf iced tea does not taste the same. Oh, yay! Oh, yes, it's a little glitchy, my sound. So I'm in Japan and my my internet is Wi-Fi. I have lowered my speed, so I actually have a delay to help with the YouTube signal. I was doing it at 60 frames per second last night and it was just freezing, so I'm at 30. So there is a delay. For the sound being glitchy, it's a new mic, but I kind of dropped it twice. So I might have broke it, which is a shame because it was like $45 that I broke in 1 week. So thank you. I will look at seeing how to improve that. Maybe moving the receiver, nope, the cord's too short, a little closer. I'm still working on things. I'm new to this. You can probably tell I'm a little rough around the edges, but you have to start somewhere. You can't be great at YouTubing your first time you do it. So thank you. I'm still fixing bugs. Like, I need to figure out how to get it to make the bing noise when you go in the chat window. I started looking it up, but I haven't figured it out. Yeah, it's an internet thing. I've lowered the quality to help it be faster. On Zoom and video chatting on my cell phone, no problems. But with YouTube, I'm having delays. I might look at getting a very, very long internet cable and running it from the back of the house to the front. Oh, no, you're good, thank you. I really appreciate the feedback because then I know to look into how to fix problems. I've been YouTubing a lot of how to fix problems to learn how to do this. So you said dinner. So are you in the States then? Did you see my Instagram or Facebook post? Ah, there we go. That eye is much better. I really want that nice, vibrant color, and I keep losing it. So that's too green. I think it's this color. So I'm just going to drop it right in and not be afraid of it. Much better. Now that bird does not look dead anymore. Oh, I will ask my husband about the capture card. My computer part, my husband made my computer. It's the PC all parts, but I think he made it in 2018, 2019. So I'm actually on Windows 10. We did not upgrade in time, so now our parts are not compatible to upgrade to Windows 11. It's kind of messy. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I love how much something looks when you put an eye in. But now you can also tell because the eye is the darkest. This is kind of key. This is great for learning. Because the eye is the darkest dark, everything else looks so dull. And that's why your darks really matter. So when I go in and add the darks under the wings and add the lines here, it'll start popping. The eye also tells me I need to make under the beak darker because they're almost the same dark. I need to make all the wing darker. I'm actually looking at my screen realizing that wing needs to go a lot darker. So do the feet. If you're afraid of building up, this is actually a safe way of doing it. Just do it over time for just a nice wet on wet messy bird. But this is for learning, so this is a great reference for learning. US. I'm originally from Virginia, but my husband and I are here for his job, so I'm in Japan. And it is 8:53 in the morning. One thing I love about working in the darks is that you can actually get your textures with your darks by just making your line marks mix in. Capture card. I have to remember that. Thank you. I'm trying to make sure I remember that. That might just be a part upgrade. And because we made my computer, that's just a matter of opening it up and switching out a part. We are looking at upgrading and rebuilding all our computers in a few years. Parts for computers have gone up so much. There was a point when my husband made my computer during COVID, we could have sold my computer and made a profit, which is crazy. It happened in my car too. I bought a used car at like the perfect month and I could have sold it for a profit at one point, which is not supposed to happen. But right now is not a good time to build a computer. It's, I wouldn't say political, but yeah, it's just expensive. So, do I want to do this as texture or just drop the darks in as a wash? I just have fun and do it as a wash and see what happens. There really isn't no right or wrong. I just know sometimes something needs to get dark much quicker. You can just put the dark layer in. So we're just going to plop all those darks in that I'm missing and get that to happen much quicker than lots of little lines repetitively. I also know I'm going to go back in one more time and do all those lines again anyway. I'm cleaning my brush off and drying it, sorry that went out of frame, just to soften this edge so it's more of a transition. So that's already better, just getting those darks in real quick. And I need to do the same thing for the tail, so I'm just going to do a wash right over that tail. Oh, I don't like the color of his tail, it's so bland, but not much choice in that matter. So at this point you could mask off those highlights, but I'm just going to do some brush control and just do it delicately. So I just, oh nice, and West Virginia, not Virginia, is captured. Thank you for your advice. I know we have our internet, like our receiver is in the family room, so we got like secondary receiver boxes. I have one outside my office, so it helps the connection be better. There's one upstairs. We are actually on, our internet's very, very expensive here. So, I mean like $180 a month for internet. It's not even good. So we have Link satellite with Elon Musk. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name of it. Which is like $40 a month. So big difference in cost. I love watercolor. Happy for that. In college. We're about the same age. I graduated college almost 20 years ago. High school exactly 20 years ago, which is crazy how quick time goes by. Okay, that's better. It's actually kind of nice looking in the monitor to see how I'm doing. So I'm going soften those edges. There's a time and place for hard edges. So if you're looking at watercolor, I actually just posted on my website a watercolor class. It's over Zoom, and I said my Zoom will work a lot better than this YouTube streaming for quality. It's a five weeks, so 5 days over the course of 5 weeks. It's an hour and a half, so 30 minutes demo and 1 hour of you working, 15 students. I sound like I'm pitching, I am. But if you want to learn and you want to have guidance, you want me to watch you paint, and I can give corrections or adjustments or advice over Zoom, because I'm not in America. It's a great way to learn. Oh no. Yeah, I'm turning 40 next week, and I am not ready for it. It just sounds old. Yesterday I was out with a friend who's half my age, and I thought I was her mom. That didn't actually feel so good to be called someone's mom who's a 20-year-old, and I was called her mom. I was like, okay, I'm fitting that age. I'm fitting the age of old. Great. But that's, I guess, age comes wisdom and experience and knowledge and the ability to handle situation. The worst part of getting old is my parents are getting older, and that's sometimes hard to want to think about. But I also started a Patreon, so the video on how I drew the birds on my Patreon, it is $5 a month for most things, $10 for more in-depth videos. It's very new, so there's not a lot on it. I apologize. My goal is to do about 3 posts a week. I'm still, be honest, working at that timeline. I haven't had a solid schedule in over a year, so I'm adjusting to deadlines. When we moved to Japan, I haven't been able to work. So I haven't had to have deadlines in a while, which I know some people would love, but I actually really miss working. So this is darker than here, but this is still too light. So it's coming together. I think the feet need to be darker. Oh, and I actually have to go. It's 9 o'clock. I plan on 1 hour. So I'm going to be live streaming this time every Friday for a little bit until my class starts. My class starts on Thursday, September 17th. So it'll be Friday morning for me. And we'll be doing an hour and a half class. And we'll be doing washes, landscapes, layering. I actually want to do a whole class on birds, because you can do birds in so many different fun ways. This is the classical way. This is the way people are kind of used to painting. But yeah, this is a weird Friday. I could normally stay and talk till lunch, but I have an appointment I have to get to. So thank you so much for being here. So my goal is to be doing the same time every Friday, so your Thursday night if you're in the States. And then randomly throughout the week, I'll pop on and just live paint whatever I am personally working on, or whatever I'm working on for my Patreon account. But thank you for being here. Oh, I'm used to bowing. I'm in Japan. It's part of the customs. It's got some nice, bowing is a nice, polite way of saying things. So thank you for being here. I need to end.